Next on Worcester News Tonight, fire at a turkey farm in central Massachusetts, how it could affect the Thanksgiving tradition for many. And a Worcester veteran receives long overdue medals for his service in Vietnam. Good evening. Thanks for joining us. I'm Andy Lacombe. We begin with a developing story in Lancaster, where fire burned through a massive turkey farm tonight. Thousands of turkeys were killed at this well-known family-run business. Catherine Sotnick has our report from Lancaster.
7,000 baby turkeys are dead after a 3-alarm fire rips through a large barn at Bob's Turkey Farm on Old Common Road in Lancaster.
It went up like a matchstick and it was gone.
The owners say a passerby alerted them to the fire just before 6 p.m.
Somebody drove in the yard really fast. I went out and I said, "What's going on?" I couldn't believe they were driving in the yard that fast with lights flashing. And they said, "You've got a barn on fire." I told my daughter to call 911 and I came running down. It was too late.
It wasn't much to it. It's wood frame with the metal roof.
By the time firefighters got there, the barn was fully involved and already started to collapse. There is electricity going to the building to keep the chicks warm and the incubators working.
It was fully involved, so the water we had on wheels wasn't enough to even touch it. Once we got established, it burned so quick.
Firefighters were also concerned about a 1,000-pound propane tank nearby and had to truck in water because there's few hydrants nearby. The farm has been in the family since the 50s, and the family says they were raising the chicks to become turkeys for this year's Thanksgiving.
I don't know how we're going to recover 7,000 birds.
I worked so hard and it's my livelihood. It's what I grew up on. So to see it potentially gone is terrifying.
And we can tell you that no people were hurt fighting this fire. The state fire marshal's office, they are also on their way here to figure out an exact cause. But at this point, it does not appear to be suspicious. Reporting for Worcester News Tonight, I'm Catherine Sotnick in Lancaster.
An update now to a story we brought you on Wednesday. A Worcester woman faced the judge today. According to police, she was speeding down Major Taylor Boulevard, chasing her ex-boyfriend when her SUV jumped a curb, critically injuring a 5-year-old girl and her grandmother who were waiting at a bus stop. Our Olivia Lemon was in court this morning and has the latest.
Yeah, but you can punch me in the face and that's okay?
Cassandra McAuliffe speaks out in Worcester District Court Thursday. The 33-year-old Worcester woman faces multiple charges, including domestic assault and battery with a dangerous weapon.
Me and Cassandra had been separated for the last 4 days, and she had just come near where I was working, and that's how this all started.
McAuliffe's ex-boyfriend Derek Bonin says he got in his truck Wednesday to leave work when she started to follow him. Bonin says he was on his way to the Worcester Police Department when McAuliffe began to drive recklessly.
She was just being real aggressive, like definitely under the influence of something.
Prosecutors say McAuliffe turned onto Major Taylor Boulevard in an aggressive manner, losing control of her SUV. This is when she hit a 5-year-old girl and her grandmother who were waiting at a bus stop. The 5-year-old suffered a broken nose and fractured skull. The grandmother is in critical but stable condition.
Right now she's suffering from a fractured pelvis, fractured arm, fractured shoulder, fractured ribs, a punctured lung, internal bleeding, and abrasions.
They was just waiting there at the bus station and they didn't even see it coming, you know what I mean? Maybe if they would have seen it, they could have moved or trying to do something.
Teo Rivera says he witnessed the crash. He works at the Dunkin' Donuts in St. Vincent's Hospital and rushed the girl to the emergency room.
I was running with her and telling her, you know, everything is going to be okay, trying to wipe her blood for her face because it was just drowning blood in her face.
I honestly thought they didn't make it, and I'm not sure. At the moment I heard that the grandmother was in surgery right now. I really thought the little girl was tennis, you know.
Olivia Lemon, Worcester News Tonight.
And Worcester police did update the girl's condition earlier today, saying she was stable and could be released from the hospital in a few days. The city of Worcester will pay more than $2 million to settle a federal suit against the police department. Na Trung spent more than 3 years in jail after the death of her infant son. A judge ruled Worcester police officers coerced the confession from the then 16-year-old. The charges against her were dropped in 2011. Trung's lawsuit against the city dragged out for years, but today the city announced the settlement in a statement, saying in part, the plaintiff and the city of Worcester have agreed to settle this case for the amount of $2.1 million. It's payable over 3 years. Now, as part of this settlement, all parties involved are prohibited from commenting further. The Massachusetts Department of Elementary and Secondary Education releases a new report on the state's charter schools, specifically on the number of students waiting to get in. The state says more than 32,000 students are on wait lists for admission to a charter school. Nearly a third of the students are from Boston. Worcester has less than 800 students on charter school wait lists, well below the number in Boston and cities like Springfield and Lynn. Worcester's Abby Kelly Foster Charter Public School reports 563 students on its wait list. Charter schools reported their wait lists, and the numbers were verified by the state. A Worcester City Councilor is raising concerns about a move to extend the contract for City Manager Ed Augustus. City Council Vice Chairman Michael Gafney called the proposal a desperate attempt by the mayor to hold on to power. Mayor Petty says earlier this year the City Council unanimously approved a motion to extend Augustus's contract, and he asked it be held up until after this public evaluation. Now, the evaluation took place this week, and Mayor Petty made the motion at Tuesday night's City Council meeting.
In this summer, when nobody's paying attention, particularly after the problems we had over the winter and a lot of the shortfalls in his performance, seems completely inappropriate. Particularly, again, the firefighters have a contract in 3 years. They're still out there saving lives. The city manager's doesn't expire until October 2017.
And in January, when the council took the vote, I'm pretty sure I said, let's wait till the mayor's evaluation before we do anything. So, according to schedule, according to what the council wanted to do, well, if people want to change their minds, that's fine, but let's be very clear here. It was 11-0 vote.
Councilor Gafney did give City Manager Augustus the lowest rating in the evaluation this week. City Manager Augustus' contract again expires in October of 2017. Rhode Island-based CVS Pharmacy will pay out a large settlement to resolve allegations its pharmacists filed fake prescriptions. According to the U.S. Attorney Carmen Ortiz, CVS will pay out $3.5 million. The U.S. Attorney's Office says 50 CVS stores filled more than 500 forged prescriptions for controlled substances like painkillers. The federal allegations say the fake prescriptions were filled between 2011 and 2014. The U.S. Attorney's Office would only say the CVS stores in question are in Massachusetts and New Hampshire, and 10 of the stores were in and around Boston. Southbridge police are tackling the opioid epidemic by partnering with healthcare communities and to help addicts. The program will begin tomorrow, and the department says they will help anyone who comes to seek recovery services. Our Andy Madison got a closer look at the new program and has the details.
I went out to Gloucester. At the official announcement of Southbridge's new drug assistance program, Police Chief Shane Woodson spoke candidly about the issue.
How we treat people who are addicted to drugs, and it hasn't worked. They go into the courts, they get released the next day, they're back out on the streets. Now the stuff's so potent, people are actually dying. So we as law enforcement, we need to step up and help the people in our community that need it.
Chief Woodson also added what they've done so far hasn't worked. They're hoping community-assisted recovery for everyone, also known as CARE, will. The program puts the police in partnership with Harrington Healthcare to get someone struggling with addiction off the streets and into treatment.
We're already seeing them on the inpatient units. We're already working with them in the community. This is one more additional resource for them to use in order to get help in a least restrictive environment.
Starting on Friday, police officers will work with health experts to help those who come to the police department asking for help, as long as they qualify for the program.
We have to get them into services as soon as possible, get them in to see a counselor, and really start services very, very quickly.
Harrington is working to make sure more inpatient beds are available around Worcester County in the coming year. Other health experts we spoke with say for those seeking recovery, taking that first step can always be a tough one.
There's a sort of a moment of opportunity that you want to seize, and the frustrating thing is sometimes when you can't match the moment of opportunity with resources, so that's difficult.
In a month where Southbridge has reported 12 overdoses and at least 2 have resulted in death, the program seems to be coming at a good time. Andy Madison, Worcester News Tonight.
Really the reason why this happened.
A Worcester veteran receives long overdue medals for his service during the Vietnam War. Congressman Jim McGovern awarded William Ernst Jr. with several medals for his military service. Our Cam Jandro has his story.
Today, a hero is honored. Congressman Jim McGovern presents William Ernst Jr. with 3 medals, honoring his service during the Vietnam War. The Worcester native was in the Air Force during the war and says receiving the medals was a great feeling.
Knowing the congressman before, it's, you know, I had chills in there when he was with me and presenting the medals, and but now maybe it's time to live my life again, you know.
Ernst was selected to receive the Air Force Good Conduct Medal, National Defense Service Medal, and the Vietnam Service Medal with 2 Bronze Stars. This came after a long and thorough review from the Air Force Personnel Center. His family says it's nice to see him be honored after all the sacrifices he made.
To recognize the accomplishments that he did over there and the sacrifices that he made, I think it's wonderful, and I'm glad that he was willing to take them because he's a humble man. So,
to be recognized as a hero in my eyes, I think it's huge, and I think that he came forward to get those medals is, I can't say enough. You know, I'm just so proud.
Ernst is one of the handful of veterans who Congressman Jim McGovern has honored with medals for their service. McGovern admits it's a thrill to be able to award these vets.
I want to say thank you to him for his service and thank him for not only his service in Vietnam, but his service to this community when he returned.
After speaking with Ernst, he told us that today's ceremony was about much more than medals. He said that this is an opportunity for him to put the war behind him and move on with his life. Andy, back to you.
Cam Jandro reporting. Thank you very much. The cost of the All-American July 4th Cookout will get a little higher this year. According to the American Farm Bureau Federation, the average cost of a summer cookout for 10 people this year is a little more than $56. The organization's summer cookout menu consists of hot dogs, cheeseburgers and buns, ribs, potato salad, baked beans, corn, chips, lemonade, chocolate milk, ketchup, mustard, and watermelon for dessert. Sounds pretty good. All right, the city of Worcester is postponing its 4th of July celebration due to Friday night's weather forecast. The fireworks, concert, and festivities will now take place on Saturday. Despite the change, it's still expected to be a huge event. Brittany Schaefer has more.
In terms of an event that brings people into the city, this is a big one.
The city's 4th of July celebration may be happening a day later than planned, but preparations for a big show are underway.
The fireworks are a big event for the city of Worcester. We're super excited to host them once again. Crowds come out in droves for them.
The Worcester Regional Chamber of Commerce expects more than 30,000 people to watch the show.
It's just a great atmosphere, and even just being on Shrewsbury Street with everyone walking around, and you just see the vibrancy of the community, and I think it's a great event.
My wife and I are planning on coming to the fireworks, and I hope to bring the majority of my grandkids, as many as I can, and have a good time.
The Independence Day event will have activities from local vendors, music by the Massachusetts Symphony Orchestra, food, and a 30-minute fireworks show.
The best viewing spot in the city is East Park. However, if you have a little trouble getting onto Shrewsbury Street because of traffic, there are many other parts in the city where you'll be able to see them.
I'm hoping to see as many fireworks as possible, the big bangs.
With the crowds, the Chamber of Commerce expects a boost for local businesses.
People will grab dinner before the event, or maybe grab a drink or a nightcap after the event.
Because we're open late, we do late night, so we'll get really busy after the fireworks.
Sweet Bakery on Shrewsbury Street is expanding their hours. Executive Chef Elena Eisenhower says she is impressed with the city's large number of events.
People from the Worcester area are starting to realize you don't need to go anywhere else, and there's so much cool stuff to do here, and you don't have to go somewhere else for 4th of July weekend, or if you are, start it here.
Brittany Schaefer, Worcester News Tonight.
Again, Worcester's fireworks Saturday. Festivities start about 3 o'clock down at East Park. The Canal District tonight opens its summer season for the 8th straight year with wagon tours. Visitors got an opportunity to ride in a horse-drawn wagon while learning the history of the Blackstone Canal and its significance in the city. Students from South High School dress in costume and act out events from Worcester's past. Those we spoke with say it's important to remember the history of the city.
Canal District, and we shed light on what happened and why there's no Blackstone Canal here today, and yeah, what it was used for.
It's pretty important because a lot of people don't know the history of Worcester and how important Worcester was industrially when it was actually such a big market for all these mills and businesses.
Wagon tours are every Thursday night until mid-August.